The classroom on Station Theta 7 was built to hold many different alien species. The chairs came in all sizes. The air system could adjust for different breathing needs. 20 young aliens sat in rows listening to Instructor Veltharn explain proper social behavior between species. Veltharn was an insectoid. He had 6 arms and hard shell-like skin that shined green under the lights. His mandibles clicked when he spoke. He was known as a strict teacher. He believed in discipline and order. In the back corner sat Rax. He was the only Krell on the station. The Krell were predators from a death world. Even as a cub, Rax was the size of an earth tiger. His fur was dark blue with silver stripes. He had 6 eyes that could see in many directions. His claws were like crystal and could cut through metal. Right now, those claws were scratching nervously at the floor. Rax had been distracted all morning. He kept looking around. His tail twitched. The other students stayed far away from him. They always did, Veltharn noticed. He stopped his lesson and turned to face Rax. "Student Rax, you are not paying attention. This is unacceptable behavior." Rax's ears flattened against his head. He looked down. "Stand up," Veltharn ordered. Rax stood slowly. He was already larger than the instructor. Veltharn moved closer. This was his standard method for correcting students. He raised his body high on his legs. He spread all 6 arms wide. His mandibles opened and he made a loud hissing sound. For most species, this display meant, "I am the authority here." For a Krell, it meant something very different. It was a challenge. A threat. Rax's pupils grew wide. His body went stiff. Every instinct in his predator brain screamed danger. "You will learn respect," Veltharn said, moving even closer. Everything happened in seconds. Rax's lips pulled back, showing teeth designed to crush bone. He moved faster than most species could see. His jaws opened and clamped down on Veltharn's mandible. There was a terrible cracking sound. Veltharn screamed. The other students panicked. Chairs fell over as they ran for the exits. Alarms started blaring. Emergency lights flashed red. Rax released the instructor and backed into a corner. His whole body shook. His eyes were wild. He made a sound between a growl and a whine. Veltharn lay on the floor, his mandible hanging at a wrong angle. Green blood pooled around him. Heavy footsteps came running. The security team arrived in full armor, weapons ready. Behind them came medical staff for Veltharn. Everyone stayed far from Rax. "Tranquilize it." Someone shouted, "No."
"He's just a cub,"
Another voice argued. "He just broke an instructor's jaw. He's dangerous." The security team raised their weapons. Rax saw them and pressed harder against the wall. He was trapped, scared. His claws dug into the floor. Then a new person walked through the door. He moved calmly, not rushing like the others. He wore a simple human military uniform. His name was Lee Jinho. He was an exchange instructor from Earth. Before teaching, he had been a veterinarian in the military. Jinho looked at the scene. He saw Veltharn being carried away by medical staff. He saw the security team with weapons pointed. He saw Rax in the corner. Everyone else saw a dangerous predator. Jinho saw something different. He saw the way Rax's ears were pinned flat, the way his tail was tucked tight against his body, the way his pupils were dilated, the slight trembling in his legs. "Lower your weapons," Jinho said quietly. "Sir, that creature is dangerous," the security captain said. "He's terrified," Jinho replied. "Look at his body language. He's not being aggressive. He's scared out of his mind. He attacked an instructor." "Because the instructor triggered a fear response," Jinho explained. He kept his voice calm and low. "Veltharn didn't mean to, but he issued what the Krell see as a territorial challenge." Rax responded on instinct. Jinho took a step forward. The security team tensed. "What are you doing?" someone asked. "My job," Jinho said simply. He moved slowly toward Rax. He kept his body low and non-threatening. He didn't make direct eye contact, which predators often see as a challenge. He spoke in a soft, steady voice. "Hey there, big guy. You're okay. Nobody's gonna hurt you." Rax's eyes focused on him. One ear twitched up slightly. "I know you're scared. I know you didn't mean to hurt anyone. You just got frightened, didn't you?" Jinho was now just a few meters away. Everyone else in the room held their breath. One wrong move and the human would be torn apart. Jinho slowly lowered himself to sit on the floor. He made himself smaller, less threatening. He kept talking in that same calm voice. "It's okay. You're safe now." "I understand." Rax stared at him. This small creature wasn't afraid, wasn't threatening him. The human's scent was calm. His voice was soothing. Slowly, very slowly, Rax took a step forward, then another step. Then Rax moved quickly, but not to attack. He rushed toward Jinho and practically threw himself at the human. Despite weighing over 90 kilograms, the young Krell climbed into Jinho's lap like a frightened puppy. Rax curled his large body around the human. He pressed his head against Jinho's chest. Then he started making a sound. It was a deep rumbling that came from his chest. It was purring. The vibration was so strong that it made the floor shake. Everyone stared in shock. The vicious predator was cuddling with the human like a baby. Jinho wrapped his arms around Rax's neck and kept speaking softly. He scratched behind the Krell's ears. Rax pushed into the touch, purring louder. "There you go," Jinho murmured. "You're all right." "I've got you." The security captain slowly lowered his weapon. "I don't believe what I'm seeing." Director Talmiz, the station administrator, arrived at that moment. She was a bird-like alien with bright feathers. She looked at the scene and her beak fell open. "How did you do that?" she asked Jinho. "How did you calm him?" Jinho looked up, still holding Rax. "I didn't do anything special. I just let him know he was safe. Predators aren't monsters. They're just animals, and all animals respond to understanding and kindness." "But you're human," Talmiz said, confused. "Your species is classified as prey. How can you understand a predator?" Jinho smiled slightly. "That's where the classification is wrong. Humans aren't prey. We never were. We just happen to be predators who learned to be gentle." Rax shifted in his arms, getting more comfortable. The huge predator cub looked completely content. The security team began to leave. Medical staff finished helping Veltharn. Slowly, the crowd dispersed, but everyone was talking. The story would spread across the station within hours. A human had calmed an apex predator with nothing but his voice and presence. A creature that could kill him easily trusted him completely. As Jinho sat there with Rax purring in his lap, he knew everything was about to change. For Rax, for himself, for how the galaxy saw both humans and predators. He just didn't know how much yet. The investigation began the next morning. The conference room was packed. Station officials sat on one side. Representatives from different species sat on others. At the center of attention sat Lee Jinho, with Rax lying at his feet like a giant guard dog. Director Talmiz spoke first. Her feathers were ruffled with stress. "We are here to determine what happened yesterday and what to do about the Krell juvenile." Across the room, several aliens shifted uncomfortably. Some wanted Rax removed from the station. Others wanted him locked up. A few even suggested putting him down. Then the door opened. Everyone turned to look. A massive figure had to bend low to enter the room. It was Ambassador Krelltalk, Rax's father. The adult Krell was 3 times the size of his son. His claws scraped the floor. His 6 eyes scanned the room, and every species present felt a primal fear. But Krelltalk's voice was controlled. "I came as soon as I heard. Where is my son?" Rax lifted his head. He made a small chirping sound. Krelltalk's fierce expression softened instantly. He moved toward his son, and everyone tensed. But the massive predator simply touched his nose to Rax's, a gesture of affection. Then Krelltalk turned to Jinho. The human stood up, meeting the alien's eyes calmly. For a long moment, neither spoke. Then Krelltalk did something shocking. He lowered his head in a bow. "You protected my son when others would have killed him," Krelltalk said. "You have my gratitude, human." Jinho bowed back. "He's a good kid. He just got scared." The formal inquiry began. Veltharn appeared on a screen, his mandible now in a healing cast. He spoke with difficulty. "I was performing standard behavioral correction. The creature attacked without warning." "With respect, Instructor Veltharn," Jinho said carefully. "It wasn't without warning." Rax showed several signs of stress before the incident. "I saw no such signs." "Because you're not trained to read predator body language," Jinho explained. He pulled up a video recording of the incident on a display screen. "Look here." Rax's ears flatten. His pupils dilate. His claws extend. "These are all signs of fear and stress." He paused the video at the moment Veltharn raised his arms and hissed. "And here you performed a dominance display. For insectoid species, this shows authority. But for predator species like the Krell, this is a threat display." You essentially challenged Rax to a fight. The room went quiet. Veltharn's eyes widened. I had no idea. I know, Jinho said gently. It was an accident. But that's the problem. The galaxy doesn't understand predator species. You're trying to teach them like they're any other students, but they're not. Another human entered the room. Her name was Dr. Park Mina. She was a xenopsychologist who worked with Jinho. She carried a tablet full of data. If I may, Mina said, I've prepared a presentation that might help explain. She activated the main screen. Images from Earth appeared. Videos of humans with wolves. Pictures of people hugging lions. Footage of bears playing with their human caretakers. The alien audience gasped. Some looked horrified. These are all apex predators from Earth, Mina explained. Any one of them could kill a human easily. But humans have lived alongside predators for thousands of years. We learned to understand them. We even domesticated some of them. She showed images of dogs. These animals descended from wolves, one of the most dangerous pack predators on our planet. But humans didn't just tame them. We became family with them. How is this possible? An alien representative asked. Humans are classified as a peaceful species. You have no natural weapons. No armor, no venom, Mina smiled. That's where the classification is wrong. Earth is what you call a death world. Everything there evolved to survive in harsh conditions. Humans included. She pulled up more data. Humans are persistence hunters. We don't have claws or fangs, but we can run for hours without stopping. We can track prey across vast distances. We can plan and coordinate attacks. We're apex predators who hunted using intelligence and endurance. She showed footage of ancient human hunters, but more importantly, we learned to read other predators. We had to. They were competition for food. They were also potential allies. So we got very good at understanding predator behavior. A reptilian professor named Ixthal spoke up. Are you saying humans are predators pretending to be prey? We're predators who chose cooperation over competition, Jinho answered. We're predators who can understand other predators because we think like them. Ambassador Kreltok stood. His massive form dominated the room. The human speaks truth. I watched the recording of yesterday. Li Jinho approached my son without fear. He read Rax's body language perfectly. He knew exactly how to calm him. Kreltok's voice grew stronger. My people have tried for generations to integrate with the galaxy. But you fear us. You lock our children away. You treat them like monsters who cannot learn. He placed a clawed hand on Jinho's shoulder. The human didn't flinch. This one small human did what your entire station could not. He showed my son kindness and understanding. He earned Rax's trust in minutes. The ambassador looked around the room. I formally request that Li Jinho become my son's guardian and trainer. If he accepts. Everyone looked at Jinho. Rax lifted his head, all 6 eyes focused on the human. Jinho took a breath. I accept. But I have conditions. Name them, Kreltok said. Rax stays on the station. He continues his education with other species. He's not isolated or treated like a prisoner, and I want access to any other juvenile predators who are having similar problems. Director Talmise's feathers stood up. You want to work with more predators? Yes, Jinho said firmly. Because this isn't just about Rax. You have dozens of young predator species on this station. Most of them are struggling because nobody understands how to work with them. They're being punished for behaviors that are natural to them. He looked at Veltharn on the screen. The instructor didn't do anything wrong. He just didn't know better, but that needs to change. A human security officer named Yoon Dae-hyun spoke up. He'd been watching from the back. I'll volunteer to help. I worked with military dogs on Earth. The principles are similar. Another human voice came from the doorway. It was Kim Sora, a young intern. I'll help too. I studied animal behavior at university. Mina nodded. This could work. If we establish proper protocols for understanding and teaching predator species, we could prevent future incidents. The discussion went on for hours. Some species were against it. They argued it was too dangerous. Others were curious. They wanted to see if the human method would work. Finally, Director Talmise made a decision. We will allow a trial period. Corporal Li Jinho will become Rax's official guardian. He will have 3 months to show that his methods work. If there are any violent incidents, the arrangement ends immediately. Kreltok bowed again. You will not regret this decision. As the meeting ended, people filed out. Jinho knelt down next to Rax. The young Krell nuzzled against him, purring softly. Well, big guy, Jinho said quietly. Looks like we're officially partners now. Think you can behave yourself? Rax licked his face with a tongue the size of a dinner plate. Jinho laughed. From across the room, Professor Ixthal watched with fascination. He was already taking notes. This human-predator bond was unlike anything he'd seen before. He had a feeling this was just the beginning of something much bigger, and he was right. Word of what happened was already spreading beyond the station. Other humans were hearing about it. Other predator species were hearing about it. The galaxy was about to learn that maybe, just maybe, they'd been wrong about predators all along. All because one human saw a scared child instead of a monster. The first week was harder than Jinho expected. Everyone on the station was watching. Some aliens pulled their children from classes if Rax was present. Others filmed everything, waiting for the humans' methods to fail. Jinho didn't care about any of that. He focused on Rax. They started with basic impulse control. In a private training room, Jinho placed a piece of raw meat on the floor. Rax's eyes locked onto it immediately. Drool dripped from his jaws. "Wait," Jinho said firmly, holding up his hand. Rax trembled. Every instinct told him to grab the food. But he looked at Jinho. The human's body language was calm but clear. Wait meant wait. 10 seconds passed, 20, 30. Rax whined softly but didn't move. "Good boy," Jinho said warmly. "Okay." Rax lunged for the meat and devoured it in seconds. But he'd waited. He'd controlled himself. It was a small victory, but an important one. They practiced this every day. The wait time got longer. Soon Rax could wait several minutes with food right in front of him. Word spread through the station. The savage predator was learning self-control. Kim Sora watched every session, taking notes. The young intern was fascinated by the process. "How did you know this would work?" she asked Jinho one day. "It's not complicated," Jinho replied, scratching behind Rax's ears. "Every animal, predator or not, responds to clear communication and positive reinforcement. You reward good behavior and redirect bad behavior. Punishment just makes them afraid. But the other instructors use punishment. They say it teaches discipline. It teaches fear," Jinho corrected. "Fear makes predators dangerous. Trust makes them partners." The next challenge was socialization. Rax needed to interact with other species safely. Jinho started small. He arranged a meeting with 3 other juvenile aliens from Rax's age group. There was Pick, a small crystalline being who communicated through light pulses. There was Noom, a floating jellyfish creature with dangling tentacles. And there was Kip, a small armored quadruped with a nervous temperament. All 3 were terrified when they entered the room and saw Rax. "It's okay," Jinho told them. "Rax is learning how to be gentle. Right, buddy?" Rax sat obediently, though his tail swished with excitement. He wanted to play. "Pick, come here," Jinho encouraged. The crystalline being slowly floated closer. Jinho took Rax's massive paw and gently guided it to touch Pick's surface. Soft touches, gentle. Rax's claws were retracted. He carefully patted Pick, who flashed colors in surprise. It didn't hurt. The predator was being careful. Noom was next. The jellyfish creature was the most afraid. But Jinho showed Rax how to let Noom touch him first. The tentacles brushed against Rax's fur. Rax stayed perfectly still even though it tickled. Kip took the longest. The little armored creature kept hiding behind Jinho. But Rax showed patience. He lay down and made himself smaller. He made soft chirping sounds. Eventually, Kip approached and touched noses with Rax. By the end of the session, all 4 juveniles were playing together. Well, their version of playing. Pick would flash lights and Rax would gently bat at them. Noom would float around while Rax tried to follow without touching. Kip would roll into a ball and Rax would carefully push him around like a toy. Watching from the observation window, Director Talmiz felt something shift in her chest. This was what the station was supposed to be. Different species learning together, playing together, being friends. Professor Ixthal stood beside her, recording everything. "Remarkable," he muttered. "The human has essentially taught a predator to control its natural instincts through trust and positive association. Will it last?" Talmiz asked. "I believe so. Look at them. The Krell isn't pretending or being forced. He genuinely wants to be gentle because it pleases the human and allows him to have friends." Training continued every day. Jinho taught Rax to read body language from different species. He learned that when Pick flashed red, it meant stop. When Noom's tentacles curled up, it meant scared. When Kip's armor plates rattled, it meant excited. Rax became fluent in a language that most species never learned. He could tell what others were feeling just by watching them. They also worked on exercise and play. Predators needed to hunt, to chase, to use their bodies. Jinho couldn't let Rax actually hunt on the station, so he created games instead. They played chase in the cargo bay. Jinho would run, and Rax would pursue at a controlled pace, never actually catching him unless Jinho allowed it. They played hide and seek, which improved Rax's tracking abilities while teaching him patience. They even played tug of war with a reinforced rope, which let Rax use his strength safely. Other humans on the station started volunteering. Yoon Dae-hyun brought his security training experience. He taught Rax commands that could be useful in emergencies. Sit, stay, come, back, guard. A human engineer named Song Hyeri noticed that Rax loved puzzles. She built special toys that required problem-solving to get treats. Rax would spend hours figuring them out, his mind engaged as much as his body. But the real test came 3 weeks into training. A fire alarm went off in the residential wing. It was small, just an overheated cooking unit, but smoke filled the corridors. Young aliens panicked, running in different directions. Jinho and Rax were in the training room when they heard the alarm. Jinho grabbed an emergency kit and ran toward the smoke. Rax followed without hesitation. In the corridor, they found Kip frozen in fear, curled into a ball. The smoke was thick. Other residents were evacuating. Rax guard, Jinho commanded. He needed to check other rooms for students, Rax understood. He gently picked up Kip in his jaws, holding the small creature carefully, and carried him toward the exit. Kip was too scared to move on his own, but Rax's mouth was warm and his grip was secure. The predator who had once attacked an instructor was now saving a life. Jinho found Pick and Noom hiding in a classroom. He guided them out, but the smoke was getting worse. They moved too slowly. Rax, Jinho called. The Krell appeared through the smoke. He understood what was needed. He lowered his body. Pick climbed onto his back. Noom wrapped tentacles around his neck. Rax carried them both out quickly, following Jinho to safety. Emergency crews arrived and contained the fire quickly. Nobody was hurt, but everyone had seen what happened. The predator had been a hero. Station news channels showed the footage, Rax carrying Kip gently in his jaws, Rax letting the other juveniles ride on his back, Rax following Jinho's commands without hesitation, even in a dangerous situation. The next day, something changed. Students who had avoided Rax before started approaching him. Parents who had complained stopped their protests. Instructors who had refused to teach with him present asked if he could join their classes. Rax had proven himself, not through violence but through compassion. That evening, in their quarters, Jinho sat with Rax. The young Krell had grown significantly in 3 weeks. He was nearly adult-sized now, but he still curled up next to Jinho like a puppy, purring softly. Kim Sora came by with her daily report. "I've been contacted by 7 other stations," she said excitedly. "They all want to know about your training methods. 3 of them have problem predators they want help with." "What did you tell them?" Jinho asked. "I told them we're working on creating a full training protocol, something any human can use to work with predator species." Jinho smiled. "Good. This shouldn't just be about Rax. Every predator deserves a chance." Through the window they could see stars. Somewhere out there, other young predators were struggling, isolated, feared. But maybe that could change. Professor Ixtal published his research paper that week. It was titled The Predator Paradox: Why Earth's Apex Species Excels at Cross-Species Empathy. In it, he proposed that humans were uniquely qualified to work with predators because they understood predation from both sides. They had been prey to larger predators while also being hunters themselves. The paper went viral in academic circles. Scientists from dozens of species requested more information. The galaxy was starting to pay attention, and it all started because one human saw a scared child instead of a monster and chose kindness over fear. 3 months after the incident, the Galactic Council called an emergency conference. Representatives from over 200 species gathered on a neutral station. The topic was simple but controversial. What do we do about predators? The human delegation was led by Chairman Ho Ji-won, a senior diplomat with decades of experience. She was calm, professional, and extremely prepared. Behind her stood Lee Jinho, Rax at his side. The young Krell wore a special harness that identified him as a trained service animal. The sight of a massive predator walking freely through the conference halls caused quite a stir. Security teams followed at a distance, weapons ready. But Rax simply walked beside Jinho, obedient and calm. The conference began in a huge chamber. Thousands of aliens filled the seats. At the center platform stood the High Arbiter, a crystalline being named Zolnath. His body reflected light in rainbow patterns. His voice echoed through the chamber. "We are here to address a growing concern," Zolnath announced. "Predator species juveniles across the galaxy are struggling to integrate into our society. Violent incidents are increasing. Isolation facilities are at capacity. We need a solution." The first speaker was from a herbivore species. "The solution is simple. Predators are too dangerous. They should be educated separately from other species. For everyone's safety." Murmurs of agreement rippled through the chamber. Another speaker, a reptilian diplomat, stood. "Separation is not enough. We should consider whether predator species should be allowed in integrated facilities at all. Their presence causes fear and disruption." More voices joined in. Some wanted stricter controls. Others wanted complete segregation. A few even suggested that predator species should not be allowed to leave their home worlds. Then Chairman Ho Ji-won stood. The chamber quieted. Everyone wanted to hear what the humans would say. "Members of the council," she began, her voice clear and strong. "I understand your fears. Predators are powerful. They are dangerous. But I propose that the problem is not the predators themselves. The problem is our lack of understanding." She activated a display showing footage from Station Theta 7. 3 months ago, a Krell juvenile named Rax attacked an instructor. Everyone expected this predator to be removed or destroyed. Instead, one human tried a different approach. Understanding. The footage showed Jinho calming Rax after the incident. It showed their training sessions. It showed Rax saving other students during the fire. Today, that same predator is here in this chamber. He has traveled through stations filled with thousands of species. He has not hurt anyone, because he has been taught how to control his instincts, because someone took the time to understand him. She looked around the chamber. Earth has lived with predators for millions of years. We learned that punishment creates fear, and fear makes predators more dangerous. But understanding, trust, and proper training, that creates safety. "That's easy for humans to say," a voice called out. "You're predators yourselves. Of course you understand them." Chairman Ho smiled slightly. "Exactly. We are predators, and that's why we know that predators are not mindless monsters. They are intelligent beings capable of learning, of choosing, of compassion, just like any other species." Captain Choi Min-jae, a human military officer, stood next. "We propose the creation of a human-predator integration program. We will train specialists to work with juvenile predators. We will create proper educational protocols. We will show the galaxy that coexistence is possible." The chamber erupted in arguments. Some species supported the idea. Others thought it was ridiculous. Many were simply afraid. The High Arbiter Zolnath raised a crystalline hand for silence. "This is a bold proposal, but many here doubt its effectiveness. How can we trust that this is not simply human manipulation? Perhaps you use technology or chemistry to control these predators." Chairman Ho had expected this. "We welcome any investigation you wish to conduct. In fact, I propose a test, separate Corporal Lee Jinho from Rax for 30 days. No contact at all. If their bond is genuine, it will survive. If it's based on control or manipulation, it will break." Jinho felt his heart sink. 30 days apart from Rax? The young Krell had never been separated from him for more than a few hours. But he understood why it was necessary. Ambassador Krelltalk stood. The massive alien's presence silenced the room. "I accept this test. But I warn you all, if anything happens to my son during this separation, there will be consequences." The vote was called. The test was approved. That night, Jinho explained everything to Rax. The young Krell didn't fully understand, but he sensed something was wrong. He whined and pressed close to Jinho. "I have to go away for a while," Jinho said softly, hugging the massive predator. "But I promise I'll come back. You have to be strong, okay? Show them how good you are." Rax's purring was sad, uncertain, but he nuzzled against Jinho one last time. The separation began the next morning. Jinho was taken to a different station. Rax remained behind with caretakers. Every moment was recorded and monitored by thousands of observers across the galaxy. The first day, Rax looked for Jinho constantly. He checked their quarters. He went to the training room. He searched everywhere, growing more distressed. The second day, Rax stopped eating. Krell caretakers tried to feed him. He refused. By the fifth day, Rax was noticeably depressed. He lay in the corner of his enclosure, barely moving. Other species tried to interact with him. He ignored them. Ambassador Krelltalk tried to comfort his son. Rax acknowledged his father but showed no interest in anything. The light had gone out of his 6 eyes. Kim Sora stepped in on day 7. She used the training methods Jinho had taught her: consistent commands, positive reinforcement, clear communication. Rax responded slightly. Not much, but enough to eat a little food. Other humans arrived to help. Yoon Dae-hyun, Song Hyeri. They took turns working with Rax, using the same techniques Jinho used. It helped, but Rax was clearly grieving. The galaxy watched. Some felt vindicated, see? The predator was only controlled by that specific human. Others felt sympathy. The creature was clearly suffering. Professor Ixthal published daily observations. What we are witnessing is not a broken control system. We are witnessing genuine emotional attachment. The Krell is not violent or dangerous without the human. He is simply sad. This proves the bond is real. The 30 days felt like forever. Jinho was miserable. He was allowed to watch recordings of Rax but could not make contact. Seeing the young Krell so depressed broke his heart. Finally, day 30 arrived. The reunion was scheduled to take place in the conference chamber in front of everyone. Jinho was brought in first. He stood at the center platform, surrounded by thousands of watching aliens. He was nervous. 30 days was a long time. What if Rax was angry? What if the bond really had broken? Then Rax was led in from the opposite entrance. The young Krell looked thinner. His fur had lost some of its shine. He walked slowly beside his Krell handlers, head down. Then Rax caught Jinho's scent. His head snapped up. All 6 eyes focused on the human standing across the chamber. For one heartbeat, nobody moved. Then Rax exploded into motion. The handlers couldn't hold him. He charged across the chamber floor, moving faster than most species could track. Security teams reached for weapons, but Rax didn't attack. He crashed into Jinho with enough force to knock the human down. Then he was on top of him, purring so loudly the vibration shook the cameras. He licked Jinho's face. He rubbed his massive head against the human. He made happy chirping sounds. Jinho laughed and cried at the same time, hugging Rax as tightly as he could. "I missed you too, buddy. I missed you so much." They stayed like that for several minutes. The entire chamber was silent, watching. Even the species that had been most opposed to the program felt something seeing this reunion. Finally, Jinho stood up. Rax pressed against his side, refusing to be more than a few centimeters away. Chairman Ho Ji-won spoke to the assembly. "You have your proof. This is not manipulation. This is not control. This is a genuine bond between 2 beings who care about each other. This is what is possible when we choose understanding over fear." The High Arbiter Zolnath's crystalline body pulsed with light. "I have seen enough. I support the Human-Predator Integration Program." The vote was called again. This time it was not close. The program was approved by a significant majority. That night, Jinho and Rax stayed in their quarters. They didn't train. They didn't work. They just spent time together. Rax refused to let Jinho out of his sight. "Never again," Jinho promised, scratching behind Rax's ears. "We're partners. We stay together." Rax's purring was like music. After 30 days of silence, the sound filled their quarters with warmth and joy. The galaxy had made its choice. Predators would no longer be isolated and feared. They would be understood, and humans would help show the way. 6 months after the conference, Station Theta 7 looked completely different. The entire eastern wing had been converted into the Human-Predator Integration Program facility. Dozens of humans worked there now. Hundreds of juvenile predators from across the galaxy were enrolled in training programs. Director Lee Jinho walked through the main training hall. It was organized chaos. In one corner, a human named Park Nari worked with a pack of wolf-like predators from a frozen world. They were learning cooperative hunting games that didn't involve actual prey. In another section, human trainers helped a group of serpent predators practice impulse control. A flying predator species was learning aerial maneuvers with human guidance, and in the center of it all was Rax. He was nearly full-grown now, massive and powerful, but he moved carefully between the smaller juveniles. helping the human trainers demonstrate proper behavior. He had become an ambassador, showing other predators that control and gentleness were strengths, not weaknesses. Kim Sora approached Jinho with a tablet. She was no longer an intern. She was now a certified predator specialist with her own team of trainees. "We just got 3 more requests," she reported. "One from a station near the Galactic core. They have a juvenile who keeps attacking food service robots. Another from an educational colony. They want to establish a full program like ours. And the third is from the Krell homeworld itself." Jinho looked up with interest. "The Krell homeworld?" Ambassador Krelltalk personally requested human trainers. He wants to modernize how young Krell are educated. He thinks human methods could help his entire species integrate better with the galaxy. It was almost too much to believe. 6 months ago, Jinho had just been trying to help one scared cub. Now the program was expanding across the galaxy. "How many humans are in the training pipeline?" Jinho asked. 47 currently in certification. Another 120 have applied. We're getting applications from Earth, from colony worlds, even from humans who have lived their whole lives in space. Jinho smiled. Something about working with predators called to humans. Maybe it was their own predator nature. Maybe it was the challenge. Or maybe humans just liked animals no matter how dangerous they looked. A notification chimed. Jinho checked his device. "The ceremony is in an hour. I need to get Rax ready. Today was important." Rax was undergoing the Krell trial of maturity. It was a traditional test that all young Krell had to pass before being considered adults. Normally it involved hunting, fighting, and survival challenges, but Rax's trial would be different. In the ceremonial chamber, dozens of Krell adults had gathered. Ambassador Krelltalk stood at the center with 3 elders. Their massive forms were intimidating, but Jinho had learned to read Krell body language. They were curious and hopeful. Rax entered the chamber with Jinho beside him. The young Krell had grown into a magnificent specimen. His dark blue fur shone with health. His crystalline claws gleamed. His 6 eyes were bright and intelligent. He looked every bit the apex predator he was, but he walked calmly beside his human, showing no aggression toward anyone present. The eldest Krell spoke. Her voice was deep and ancient. "Rax, son of Krelltalk, you have reached the age of maturity. You must prove yourself worthy to join adult society. We have prepared challenges that suit your unique path." The first challenge involved 5 juvenile aliens of different species. They were brought into the chamber, clearly nervous. Rax's task was to interact with each one without triggering their fear responses. Jinho stepped back. This was Rax's test, not his. Rax approached the first juvenile, a small crystalline being like Pick. He lowered his body, made soft sounds, and waited for the juvenile to approach him first. When it did, Rax gently touched it with a retracted claw. The second juvenile was more difficult. It was a prey species with strong flight instincts. Just being near a predator made it want to run. But Rax lay down completely, making himself as non-threatening as possible. He didn't move until the juvenile felt safe enough to approach. One by one, Rax successfully calmed and interacted with each juvenile. The Krell elders watched with amazement. Traditional Krell trials tested strength and hunting ability. This tested something far more difficult: self-control and empathy. The second challenge was brought out. It was a security scenario. A small alien was trapped under debris. Rax had to rescue it without causing injury. Rax approached carefully. He used his powerful jaws to lift the debris, but his bite was controlled. He didn't crush or damage anything. Then he gently picked up the small alien in his mouth and carried it to safety. The alien was unharmed, just slightly wet from Krell saliva. The final challenge was the most important. Rax was placed in a situation designed to trigger his predator instincts. Holographic prey animals ran across the chamber. They looked real, moved real, even smelled real. Every instinct told Rax to chase, to hunt, to kill. Jinho watched tensely. This was the ultimate test of everything they'd worked on. Rax's muscles tensed. His eyes tracked the prey. His claws extended slightly. For a moment it seemed like he might fail. Then Rax looked at Jinho. The human nodded once. "Trust yourself," Rax sat down. He watched the prey run past but didn't chase. He controlled the most powerful instinct a predator has. He chose control over instinct. The chamber erupted in Krell vocalizations. It was their way of celebrating. The elders approached Rax, touching him with their snouts in approval. The eldest spoke again. Rax, you have passed your trial. But you have done more than that. You have shown a new path for our people. You have proven that Krell can be powerful and gentle, strong and controlled. You honor us all. Ambassador Krelltalk stepped forward. His voice was thick with emotion. My son, I am proud beyond words. You are the first Krell to complete the trial without violence. You are the first to show that our strength is greater when used with wisdom. Then Krelltalk turned to Jinho. The massive alien did something unprecedented. He bowed deeply, a gesture of ultimate respect among Krell. Lee Jinho, you have given my son something I never could. You taught him that being Krell doesn't mean being feared. It means being responsible with our power. Our entire species is in your debt. Jinho bowed back, humbled. Rax taught me just as much. He showed me that every being, no matter how dangerous they seem, just wants to be understood. After the ceremony, there was a celebration. Humans and aliens mixed freely. Predators and prey species ate together. It was a scene that would have been impossible a year ago. Later that evening, Jinho found Instructor Veltharn in the observation lounge. The insectoid's mandible had healed completely. He'd been avoiding Rax since his injury. Instructor, Jinho said gently, there's someone who wants to see you. Veltharn's body stiffened. Then Rax appeared. The massive Krell approached slowly, his body language completely submissive. He stopped in front of the instructor and lowered his head. It was a Krell apology, a gesture of deep regret. Veltharn was silent for a long moment. Then he reached out with one hand and touched Rax's snout. I forgive you, young one. I am sorry too. I did not understand your language. Now I do. Rax made a soft chirping sound. Veltharn's mandibles clicked in what might have been a smile. I have been studying, Veltharn said, learning to read predator body language. I want to teach again, but I want to teach properly this time. Would you help me? Jinho smiled. We'd be honored. As the night went on, Dr. Park Meena published a new research paper. It was about the program's success rates. Over 90% of predators in the program showed significant behavioral improvement. Incidents of violence had dropped to nearly zero. But more importantly, the predators were happier. They had friends, education, and purpose. The galaxy was changing. Slowly but surely, more stations were requesting human trainers. More predator species were being given chances they never had before. The old fear and segregation were giving way to understanding and cooperation. Professor Ixthal added his own observations to Meena's research. He'd been studying the program since day one. His conclusion was simple. Humans succeeded with predators because they never forgot they were predators themselves. They understood the instincts, the drives, the needs, but they also understood choice, control, and compassion. Late that night, Jinho sat in his quarters with Rax lying beside him. The huge Krell's head rested in his lap just like that first day, but everything was different now. You know what I've been thinking, Jinho said, scratching behind Rax's ears. We did something important. We showed the galaxy that the most dangerous creatures can become the gentlest protectors. That power isn't about violence. It's about choice. Rax purred, a deep rumble that Jinho felt in his bones. You're going to help so many others, Jinho continued. Young predators who are scared and alone. You'll show them they're not monsters. They're just kids who need understanding. Through the window they could see the stars, millions of worlds out there, thousands of species. And somewhere among them, a young predator was probably struggling right now, feared and isolated. But things were changing. Help was coming. Hope was spreading. All because one human saw a scared cub breaking an instructor's jaw and thought, that's not a monster. That's a child who needs help. And sometimes that's all it takes to change the galaxy. One act of understanding, one moment of compassion.